Please join me in welcoming Kevin Cottam to our virtual stage. Over to you, Kevin.
Thank you very much, and it's really great to be here with everybody. It's so wonderful that so many people come from all over the world, and I'm really very, very grateful for this moment. And thank you very much, Aggie, and also um, Joe, for being here. So let's just dig really deeper into it, okay? So your map, what I want to share with you, because of the situations that we have today in the public crisis and also the economic situation, also within organizations, we have a variety of situations of employee retention, challenging mental health issues. There's a variety of things that we have all of these issues are something which we need perhaps, and I would say, a new map. And that new map is the mindset because the terrain that we are in is very uncertain and very difficult for most of us. So I want to share with you, this is important. And I see that everyone is here for a reason. And I'm very grateful for that reason. And I want to be able to bring you forward with this. So you're here, as I see, so that you can awaken your mindset that thrives in uncertainty. And I think this is really an important factor, is why you are here. And the people that are here, this is for leaders and professionals and curious minds, which I love curious minds, and I can see that many of you are. And I want to know for sure, are you ready to go nomading and unlock and to uncover your nomadic mindset? A little hands up. Are you ready? Okay, let's go. Let's go deep into it. Now, I want to first of all excuse myself for my horsey mouth, my voice. It's very, very, I had a cold and luckily I'm able to speak, but it's all good for here. So I want to thank you again. So let's go on with this. So one of the important things here is understanding that we do have some questions and some problems that are happening, and maybe some of them are affecting you or your teams or even other leaders in the organization or your friends. It may be. So some of them are you still leading with methods that no longer land? This is important to know, and therefore, what is the map that you're using? Are you burned out and barely holding it together? This is happening for a lot of people, as we know, around the world and in organizations. And one of the things that I do is I take people forest bathing to help them to be more calm and to get their mental health to help them through. And luckily with Andy, who is on here, we've been doing that a lot. And so the last one is, there's many, are you surrounded by uncertainty, unexpected, and expected to stay steady? I think that we all are expected to stay steady, and I think this is a challenge for many, many people in this particular time. But let's look at the map, this nomadic mindset. So I would like to take you on that journey. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at your map, and it probably doesn't connect with the terrain today. But let's look at what are the profits for you during this time. First of all, we're going to hear about the origin story of the nomadic mindset, which is always exciting to hear and to see how it can then also help you. Then what we will do is identify what is your dominant mindset. You came here for the nomadic mindset. However, I will also speak about the builder mindset and the settler mindset as well, which are extremely important, which live within all of you. Thirdly, I'll give you 5 ways on how to unlock your nomadic mindset. And then, why is the nomadic mindset vital for today's world? I will share along the way this particular question as well. And then also the answers to your questions at the end. So I'm very excited about doing that. Let us move into this. So what I want to talk about first of all is, what is the meaning of nomad? Can I ask you to all put into the chat a few words of what you think the meaning of nomad is? Wander, movement, free-spirited, explore, traveling, momentum, someone who stays flexible and adaptable, going where life takes you, curious, not confined, curious, flexible, fantastic. Well, I think you all figured it out. So this is really great. However, let us look. This is one of the things that I love to do, and I believe it's extremely important for all of us, is to look to the expansion of the word. And would like to do that by sharing with you also the meaning. But before we get there, just a little bit more about myself of how that journey came about. So this Nomad started very early with me, and I was a figure skater. And in that figure skating, I eventually became a Canadian champion. But at some point, I became a dancer as well. And I danced at the Moulin Rouge, and that was really very exciting. So kicking my heels up at 10 o'clock at night until 2 in the morning, it was quite exciting and quite a wonderful thing. But I also had the incredible opportunity to be able to direct and choreograph and conceptualize the closing ceremonies of the Olympic Games, and then plus a variety of other events such as Disney on Ice, Holiday on Ice, the World Athletic Championships. But that was all part of one part of my life, and that was very important. But at some point, I have to say, I lost my terrain. Sometimes we do that. But before that, I lost the terrain, I became a coach, a leadership and a coach and a trainer, and also a professional speaker as well. But at some point during that career, I got bored. Have you ever been bored before in your life? I'm sure that you have been bored. And I get very bored, and I felt very unfulfilled with what I was doing. What I was doing, and sometimes we do this in our jobs, we could become very demotivated. We're not fulfilled with what we're actually doing. And what is the purpose of why we're doing it? And I also felt extremely point where I started to seek what was something new. And that is when this picture appeared. This started in my journey. Some people say looks like a little bit like Lawrence of Arabia from the movie Lawrence of Arabia. This happened when I was during Morocco time, when I was sitting in a hut having conversations and interviewing. But it was one of those things that I say that what explained is I couldn't understand really what the word nomad meant until I really started to break it down. And I said I was a global nomad, but what did that really mean? And this was an exploration that I went to go on. And so when I did this, I decided to find out what the word nomad means. Now, the nomad stems from the word nomas, which is ancient Greek, which means wanderer. It means somebody that's roaming. And then it also, in contemporary Greek, it also means nomos. And nomos means pasture or grazing. And then in the 15th century, it became known as nomad, and it's French, and it also becomes the meaning of a person or a team or a tribe which is moving from place to place without any stationary home. And that's what most people think about this word. But in this particular aspect, I want to share with you how this expansion of understanding the curiosity about being a nomad can take us to a much bigger place of meaning in our lives. And that is, I will share with you a story. But before that, I want to let you know and invite you that I dare you to move into the nomadic mindset. I dare you to move into it. And I dare you to move into the nomad itself. What does that really, truly mean? So let me share with you a story of where this all came about. In September, but I will share with that story, but I want to also say in that story, by the end of this time, you will build some clarity and confidence to learn through the unknown. Very, very important. And then there's another thing that you will learn over this time of the journey of the episodes. And that is live, feeling real adaptability, not just talk. And then also to gain freedom to think differently and lead authentically. These are some of the attributes that you will come away with over the series. But now let's just dig right deep into the story. September 2017, I find myself in Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia. The chill of winter is in the air. I am all dressed in my cashmere cap and sweater, gloves, and my scarf. And I'm heading across the central square. And in that central square, I am moving towards the Blue Sky Hotel. And there I am to meet my mentor, Frederick Herring, my guide and translator, Esso, and Batgirl Bat, who is she was the head of the branding council of Mongolia. And I was there, but when I moved into that the lounge, I saw them sitting there. I saw them and I saw that they were all in conversation. And then I took up a seat next to Becquerel. And I looked and I observed at everyone. I observed Becquerel. She had these big, beautiful brown eyes and this smile that went from ear to ear and this deep and sultry voice, which I'm sort of using now. And that was soft and yet fierce. It was like the Genghis Khan was coming out of her. I was to ask her and have interview with her. I'd never interviewed anyone before. And so this was a really interesting time. What was I to ask? I wasn't sure. I wasn't terribly prepared. And what happened is that I asked her some questions. And I asked her, I said, what is the true meaning of nomad? And she leaned forward to me and she said, it's not what you think it is. And so I thought, what does it mean? And so she paused again. And she said, the meaning is the movement of the mind, the movement of the mind, the movement of the mind. And all of a sudden, fireworks went off in my body and my body started to shake. I felt as if I had found the core of the nomadic mindset, the movement of the mind. So you can see from the meaning of nomad that you have also given to also the meaning from the dictionary and the origins. This is a more expansive meaning, the movement of the mind. The movement of the mind is not just the mind, but it's the heart, it's the gut, it's the internal movement, that nomad which is within you, but it's also that expansion around you. So the way you see and perceive the world from a very different perspective, like this picture here, you can see the expansiveness of that. But then then I wanted to share further. And so what was that? That was finding out what really is the nomadic mindset. It's not just the movement of the mind, but I went into looking at a variety of things. I started to think about, okay, the nomadic mindset in my research I was looking at, and I was researching with a variety of maybe 100 different leaders from different areas and different departments and different industries. And I was questioning them, what is this nomadic mindset? But I started off and I thought, what is a nomadic mindset? But this is too narrow. And then I thought, well, there's an opposite to that. There is the settler mindset. But I still thought there's something missing here. There's two opposites, perhaps. But what is the third? So during a conversation, an interview with a CEO, and he said to me, there's something missing here. And I said, yeah, I was excited because I thought, oh my God, there is another one. And in that, he said to me, it's something around building. So what came about was three mindsets. Three mindsets that I started to look at: the nomadic, builder, and settler. Now, let me just share with you a little bit more about this. The three mindsets, they all live within each one of you. You have a dominance for one more than another. This may shift and change over time, depending on age, financial wealth, culture, your education, a variety of different aspects. But you will probably have more of a dominance for one more than another. But we can, in our conversations, shift from one to the other. Now, let me just bring business into this, in the fact that in a team, we may have a variety of these different mindsets that are happening. Within an organization, you will have different mindsets which are in the organization. You will also have the trajectory and also the journey of the organization. May be in a nomadic state, it may be in a builder state, it may be in a settler state. All of these are alive. They move within the organization. They move within you. It's extremely important to understand that. But what are they? And how can you identify them in yourself? It's probably better for me to have a little bit of a story about that as well. So let me share with you a story around this. For example, imagine that there is an executive that is going to launch a new product. And in this product, she's doing it in a far-off country for 200 guests, and also it is in the forest. There are a lot of trials and tribulations. There's a lot of risks for this particular event to happen. So she decides that she needs three different people who are going to be able to take on this project. So those three people, so the first one, employee number one, oh, I've been at this company for 30 years. I love this company and I will stay here until the end of my time. I know the people like the back of my hand. I have been through the ups and downs, the changes that I've been through, all of the different shifts. However, for this particular project, as you know, I don't like to take risks too much. And so I would prefer to stay here in HQ with the company of my collaborators, and I would be able to direct it from here so that I can stay calm and I can stay safe. Employee number two, employee number two is, events that have tight budgets, time constraints, and certainly possible challenges. That's me. I love to have these logistical problems, and I like to be able to really squeeze budgets and also the suppliers as well. In fact, I really enjoy to keep everybody on track as well. So that I will do. And as you know, I work very long hours. The third employee says, I really am very excited about this project. Why? Because it is a combination of a variety of things, creativity, nature, and the possible opportunities. I will create a collaborative team which is full of respect and also protects the forest. I know that there will be challenges up and down, and we will adapt to any of the risks that can happen. We will also be able to create a team which is full of humility. It is harmonious and very strategic at the same time. Now, it's for you to find out. I'm going to ask a question for you to put into the chat. I would like you to answer N for nomadic, A for builder, and B, and also S for settler. When I ask you this question, what do you think is the mindset of employee number one? So it's now you can put it into the chat. N, B, or S? Absolutely. It is the settler. Now, let's look at the majority of you have settler, some of you have builder. Now, the second employee, what do you think is the mindset of the employee number two? Yes, builder. You're absolutely correct. Super. So now we have the last one. What do you think is the mindset of the employee number three? Right. Perfect. Absolutely. Fantastic. And now it's your turn. We're going to do a little poll. I love to do polls. So here we go. Here's a poll for you. And I would like you to, once it starts, I would like you to scan the QR code and answer the question. So here we go. What is the first question is, what do you think is your dominant mindset? So now you can log in on the cue card and to select the answer for yourself. We got one nomad in the group. Fantastic. Wow, we got a lot of nomads. This is unusual. Keep them coming, everybody. Let's see who we've got here. You know, everybody is important, huh? Everybody is important in an organization and in a team. We need to have every mindset going. Ah, here we go. Keep it coming. This is great. All very important. Ah, all right. We got a few more people in the crowd. So let's see. Keep the votes coming in. We'll hold it open for a little bit longer so that we can get more. Hopefully you're able to use the QR for the people that are having a challenge. Good. This is good. Keep it going. We got a lot of nomads in here. This is really amazing. Fantastic. I love to see that. That means we're on the right track. Let's keep going with this. Fantastic. We'll hold it for a little bit longer. All right. This is good. We've got a lot of nomads in the room. All right. But now the next question, it probably won't be any different, but this may shift and change a little bit. So the next question for you is, is what is the mindset you need more of now and moving forward? That may shift for some people. This is good. You know, this is very interesting the way we have today, because the majority of people usually in the mindset, the first dominant mindset is usually builder. But now this is what we need more of. So this is very curious and this is great. Wonderful. You see, now we have even more people that have signed in, and we have also voted on this. And so now we need to know this. This is fantastic. All right. Thank you very much for this. We will move to the next place now. So how do we get there? Well, first of all, let me share with you a statistic. The statistic from all of the polls that I've done with the speaking that I've done and webinars and masterclasses, what I have found that 82% of the leaders that are in the room first started off as builders and said that 82% need to be nomadic in this particular world today. So to deal with the uncertainties, to deal with the unknowns, to deal with the unpredictables. Now, let us go into this a little bit deeper as to for a couple of hows we're going to get there. So how are we going to get there? Let me share another story with you. I was in safari, and I was in the Masai Mara, Kenya, and my team and we were looking for the big five. We were on a quest for the big five. Now, I'm sure many of you know what the quest for the big five are, and that is the elephant, the rhino. It is also the buffalo, the leopard, and the lion. All of these are the big five. And luckily, I was able to see all of them. The shy rhino didn't appear very often, but it was really easy to see. But what happened is every so often my guide would certainly stop and say, oh, look over there. You'll see that there is a beautiful wildebeest. There's an emu behind those bushes. And, you know, it's very interesting because they can see, the Maasai can see from very, very far away. And in that, I couldn't see what they were saying. He said, it's over there. And I would look, he would point his hand, and I would look over his hand, and he would say, it's there. And I would look, oh, yeah, it's there. But you know what? Half the time I didn't see where it was. So I got a little bit frustrated, but I just enjoyed the safari as it was. But then a couple of years later, I went to Namibia, and I went on a safari with my guide, George, and we went to Etosha National Park. And he said to me, he stopped again, and he said, look over there behind those green bushes, and you'll see a family of steenboks. And I looked again, and I couldn't see this family of steenboks. And I got really, really frustrated. And I asked him, I said, what is it that you are looking for that I'm unable to see in my perception of the world? And he said to me, what I do is I look for what doesn't fit in the picture. And all of a sudden, again, fireworks went off inside of me because I thought, what doesn't fit in the picture? Most of us are looking for what doesn't fit in the picture. We look to see what's in our picture, our perspective, our view of the world. But we don't see the gaps between the breath, the thoughts, the ideas. We're rambling in a very narrow perspective. And when you become more nomadic, you start to think in a wider perspective. So you have this expansion. And this is extremely important. And one of the key pieces of being nomadic is you don't get stuck in the box, stuck in your work, stuck, and so that you get burnt out. No, you find the possibilities and opportunities. And in the future episodes, we'll be talking about opportunities, possibilities, and things like this, and how we can use the nomadic mindset in a much better way. And then I had an incredible opportunity to do this. But first of all, I realized that I needed to move past my status quo as well. I needed to move past it. And for most of us, there is this status quo that we're hanging on to for comfort and for the support of our own well-being. But this is where we are in the world. The status quo is good, but we need to get out of that comfort zone. And nomads and indigenous people live in that place of survival, discomfort, but they're also comfortable in where they are because they have everything. They have what they want. They have the universe, they have nature, they have all of the different animals, they have a life. But that, if we transplant that into us, we have all of the consumerism, we have all of this, which makes us comfortable as well. However, it's formed a status quo. And if you remember in COVID, it asked us to be resilient. And this was asking us to look outside of the box, to look outside of not only the box, but look for what doesn't fit in the picture. And we were able to do it because that's human nature. You're able to sink into that. And that's where we need to go today within organizations and within ourselves and within our teams, is to move past that. The work that I do with organizations and taking them on leadership journeys, what we do is we do work from that aspect of going wider so that they get more questioning, get more critical thinking. And this is part of that width. Now, let me share with you that along this, we have many lions in our life. We need to face the lions. We need to face them every day as we get up. Sometimes we have to face those lions, which are drivers on the street, that they're running at you, and you've got to run across the street. But why? It's interesting. So I had the wonderful opportunity also in Kenya to spend time with Benson Mutare. But before I get there, I want to back up one more time to Mongolia, because this is where the nomad goes. The nomad is able to shift and very, very quickly be able to go from one subject to another to find a new path. And it's the map of the terrain helps them to move from one place to the next. I had this wonderful experience of spending time with a young university student from Mongolia. And she said to me that she was longing for the rolling golden dunes of the Mongolian steppes and the golden desert. She says, this is where freedom is. This is where you have to be adaptable and resilient and to know that the climate is always changing. Everything is changing on an ongoing basis. But she said, this is an important factor of a nomad. They think vastly and act narrowly. So they look like I am standing here, wide and exploratory and curious, and width, to see the width of our ideas, our thoughts, the different avenues we want to take, our teams, the different projects we want to do, whether we're doing startups or whether we're doing AI. How are we adapting to all of this? And then we narrow in, and how do we use it to focus very cleanly? But again, we need to get out of the status quo to be able to do that. We need to find the map that is going to help us to do that. And that's where the nomadic mindset sits. Some other 5 areas and 5 behaviors and actions to take while you are doing this. And that is, I was spending time with Benson Mutare, and Benson was a warrior. And through the warrior training of a Maasai is very well known to be very expansive. And this is where you build your capability as a warrior, as a human, to be able to stand. But he said, I was able to kill 2 lions, and we're not allowed to kill 2 lions anymore and kill a lion because they are protected. But he now says the lions come in different forms. He said the lions are the overthinking in our minds, and the heart, the lions that happen in our mind, in our body, and everything. And he also said they are the new chats and the new AI. These are lions for us, or the teachers, or the grades that we have to have, or the politicians, or the economy. These are lions. But how do we face these lions? And he said that when you face a lion, first of all, the first thing you need to do is to be very still. He said stillness is important. Still in your inner body, still in your mind, keeping your eyes focused on the lion, understanding that stillness which is in the lion as well. And he also says, but at the same time, you must be alert. Alert for what the lion might do. The lion might say, the lion might be with you. And it's also the important part is the lion is within you, the alertness. is how do we stay alert? We can stay alert by feeling our senses on the many aspects of our lives. And then he says, listening is extremely important. Listen to the words, listen to the energy, listen to the inspiration, listen to the motivation, listen to whatever it is, not only in the external world, but inside of yourself, your heart, your gut, listening deeply to the sounds. This is part of being the lion, facing the lion, and the nomadic mindset. The other is to observe 360 degrees, to know that every part around you when you are with the lion, you must know where you are, grounded in the nature. And then what you said earlier today is curiosity, is keeping that curiosity alive, alive and thriving and throbbing within you. This is all part of the nomadic mindset. So for you, this journey is about some of the how, but also realizing what is this nomad and questioning every day. What is the builder in me? What is it saying? And what is the settler? I was set, to do this masterclass. I was actually had to get out of my comfort zone. I had to go from a settler feeling to this nomad in me again, to say everything is okay. Let's venture. Let's find a new path. And I said to Job, let's just do it. I said it to Agnes, let's just do it. And I had a lot of help from many other people. And this is part of being nomadic, is finding the paths, the new map, that's your terrain that you're traveling in, whether it's like Luke after retirement, finding a new place to be. It is about Andy finding new possibilities for the work that he does with frontline workers. It is about Susanna, who is finding the work and working with multicultural people in leadership. It is about all of this, is how do we extend ourselves to find new things, to look for what doesn't fit in the picture. So I dare you to move, because the nomadic mindset is all about movement, the movement of the mind, the gut, and the heart. It is about the movement which is in the ecosystems of the universal systems. It is involved in the nature. It is the movement of nature. The nomadic mindset is holistic. It encompasses all parts of nature, your nature, the universe's nature, and it encompasses all of your inner being and who you are. So the questions are here for you, is to move in this terrain. So I invite you to use your feet and step forward to the next step. I know, for example, Louise, my friend Louise, who is here today, she is moving after many, many years here in Singapore back to Australia, and taking her company and taking it to the next level of mentorship of what she does. So all of these things are nomadic. And we think, oh, I'm not a nomad. No, there's a nomad that lives in every single one of you. There's a builder that lives in every single one of you. And there's a settler that lives in every single one of you. And you need to know when that is to bring that mindset in. And that is the trick, right? So it's being able to be flexible and adaptable. So are you ready to embrace a new map? I ask you this question. You can put it into the chat. Are you ready to embrace a new map? Are you ready to move into a new terrain? I know, Beatrice, you are moving into new terrain. I know, Dorji, you are creating and writing a book on creativity in Bhutan. Wonderful. This is a new domain. I know, Ganesh, you're already in that and you are moving into new terrains all the time. And Luke, yes, you are. This is wonderful. So, not ready yet, Meenakshi? You are moving, I'll tell you right now. Yes, this is wonderful. So I want to thank you very much for being here. Now, Aggie, I invite you to take over from here. We have all these people ready to take on a new mindset, a new map, and a new terrain.
Thank you very much, Kevin. Please join me in applauding in whatever way you feel comfortable applauding Kevin for this wonderful talk and for having taken us on a journey